just to let you guys know, you guys will be seeing this afterwards, but yeah, just had to start a little bit. I totally forgot I had my vaccine today, and totally forgot about other meetings I had just shortly after noon. So I didn't want to be crunched for time and be rushing to this. So I just started earlier today for the stream. Definitely checking some audio levels real quick, guys, making sure we're all set and squared out to go. I know Tuesday was a little bit rough. I got some of the issues fixed. I figured out among the issues, which was fine. It was a Windows update, of course. And then the DSLR, it seems to be doing alright. I did some tests yesterday, but if we keep having issues, we might have to just move away from the DSLR. I'm not even sure why. I looked up some videos and it still didn't really give me a clear answer. He's still exactly what was going on. But no big deal at all. Today's a great day. It's Thursday. It is another amazing day in the markets, like it always is, especially in cryptocurrency. We always have so much going on, and it just seems impossible to know every single piece of information that's going on. So you guys know I always pull the most informational, and I think me personally the best articles that are going to be the best for you guys to read, and that's going to give you the most useful information to help you either invest in those yourself, do more research to open up other doors, or even teach friends and family, or even around that section as well. So today, guys, for our agenda today, for Thursday, April Fool's Day. How about April Fool's Day? I'm not going to be doing any. I thought about it, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any jokes in this live stream. You guys will see it on YouTube today or everywhere. Especially in the cryptocurrency markets, there's going to be a ton of jokes. People not being serious, influencers saying this and that, or all that. But please don't take anything seriously today that some people say, especially if they're not credible. Just don't listen to them. It's most likely not true, and they're just probably trying to yank your leg or just trying to get you to look in some sort of direction or whatever like that. So for Thursday, guys, so for our agenda today, we're going to be going over NFTs, Opensea, and adding free gas fee transactions for NFT publishers and buyers. So that's amazing. We're going to go over that shortly. Actually, that's going to be one of the first, I think, third articles we're going to go over. We're also going to be going over the Bitcoin miners. I believe as of right now, Bitcoin miners have pulled in the most profit they've ever pulled in, I believe, this quarter. So that is extremely bullish signs. That means Bitcoin miners can't even keep up with the demand on exchanges. So that means they're mining, they're keeping some of their Bitcoin for personal reasons to hold, for electricity costs and, for their own personal holdings, whether that be, helping family out or, just, mining because they believe in the process. And we will cover that also. So that's extremely bullish news for miners. They are pumping to exchanges, and it is being bought up on exchanges quicker than they can even really put it on there. So that is huge, great news. We always like to see. The shortage is definitely happening, and it has been happening for quite a while. Morgan Stanley is here to take advantage of more exclamation points. So we talked about Morgan Stanley last week. Morgan Stanley has been offering cryptocurrency advancements to their customers, their high net worth individuals, all their people. Majority of all the people Morgan Stanley have been asking for cryptocurrency exchanges. So all that really means, I know we've covered them in the last couple of weeks, and some people may be new here that are tuning in and may not understand exactly what Morgan Stanley is. So you guys remember we've talked about hedge funds, tons of different asset managers, MicroStrategy, BlackRock, now Morgan Stanley, Fidelity. A lot of those are institutions, but they're also asset managers. They kind of break off into different branches. And Morgan Stanley's, I think, top 3 in the world. They manage about $2 trillion worth of assets, whether that be from the high net worth individuals or just from their own company balance sheets in general. So their customers have been, of course, over the past months and upcoming pretty much this entire year, besides the quarter first one of 2021, but even before that in 2020 as we were covering. Customers have been calling their financial advisors saying, hey, I'm seeing this cryptocurrency stuff go crazy. I'm seeing Bitcoin go nuts. Have you seen this chart? What would you think about me putting a 1% allocation or 3% allocation in this? And right now, hedge fund managers and financial advisors cannot. I mean, they can, depending on the finance advisor, but I believe there are some policy rules for some individuals and investment firms that they cannot come out openly and say, that is a for sure thing because of, some FDIC insurance not being, 100% safe and all this jazz. So I think from a technical point and a written rule book standpoint, a lot of these hedge fund managers cannot come out and actually say that. But in a way, they know that this is a good investment and that this is something that can do very well. Oh my goodness.
I can't click on. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. I hope that didn't. I hope that wasn't too bad. I hope I don't have to start over. I actually didn't even notice I had the Cam Link version on, and I hope it was not echoing too bad. But we will definitely continue. Yeah, we'll continue, guys. No worries. Oh my goodness, I got to be more careful of that. Cannot believe there's a microphone in there. So anyway, we're also going to moving forward. April time is usually a very bullish month for cryptocurrency as well. Ethereum is looking very coiled up and ready to explode, and we're going to go over kind of what I see and kind of how I think the April month is going to kind of play out in the future. So, alrighty, guys. So first, we're going to hop into our NFT marketplace, Opensea, adding layer 2 protocols for their gas fee transactions. So we covered yesterday. If you watched the NFT masterclass yesterday, I put in some great helpful links there. Kind of went through it was about a 20-minute short video of kind of just really going in intermediate critical thinking, in-depth NFT masterclass kind of in a way. So I went through, my NFTs that I published. I went through, ways that you can get your NFTs published, how that would really go about on the marketplaces, different marketplaces that you can venture out on. Here, I can actually see if I can pull up the Patreon if you guys did not see that already, but I think you guys should be okay. If we go to Patreon, we go to here, and then let's go to our NFT section for your patrons. If you're not a patron, I don't know if I have this unlocked for you guys for the free section, so I'll have to do a free section for people who are not subscribed to the Patreon. But you go to here, you have NFT brainstorming tutorial. I got all these links here for different NFT sites, personal NFT sites, my personal NFT site, 3 quick ways for new creatives, extra sites, etc. So it's a really whole kind of starting helpful guide for anyone who's looking to get into that section. So highly recommend, big thumbs up. But going back to the article, really just explaining, all they really did in this article is kind of just explaining how they're managing the gas fees for Opensea. Here's a quote here from their head president, I believe Opensea, or Nate Chasten. I forgot, Nate Chasten does. He is Opensea. Totally forgot. I was thinking of Rarible. Integrating Immutable X enables us to offer us free gas, free trading experiences without sacrificing the security of the Ethereum network, said Opensea head product of Nate Chasten. We're rolling this out. Future game developers and players of Opensea will benefit from this scaling solution. So we've always talked about scaling, and some people really don't understand exactly what that means. So just the idea of scaling, with the whole EIP 159 that we've been talking about with lowering gas fees and the transaction fees of using the network, and the reason we have gas fees is to keep the network uncongested, so you can't spam the network with transactions if you don't pay the gas fee, and that just makes things free, and it frees up the network, and it doesn't, you don't have to worry about it getting congested. So because you have to pay for every transaction on the Ethereum network, and that just keeps it a lot more free. So them minimizing this with the influx that we're having of people and creatives, and the traction they're getting, it is a good move, and it's going to help in the long run. It's going to make newer users become more frequent. It's going to make things a lot easier for people to navigate on the site. It's going to make it just, no one likes, paying crazy amount of gas fees either. It's a tough situation, as a developer. It's like, we're working really hard on getting these scaling solutions done, but then at the same time, it's just whatever, it's people's jobs. This is the idea of how the network works. Miners wouldn't mind if they weren't, getting tipped out on that sense. So that's great to know moving forward, that this is not going to be an issue. I know right now Opensea already had a one-time gas fee purchase. So like I said in the NFT masterclass the other day, if you were to pay the first gas fee for your NFT and then everything after that would be completely free transaction-wise, I think that's a really good idea, and that kind of gives some incentive to creatives to kind of make that first initial step. Because like most people really just don't do that first step, and that's why they never really get to that point in their project or their work, or whatever they're choosing to do, is because they don't make that first step. But once you do that first step, you pay that first maybe $105 gas fee, and after that everything else is kind of just free game. So I could definitely see a lot of the other platforms kind of latching onto this and continuing going off Opensea's type scaling solutions, which is awesome, because it's going to help just the whole new user experience in general. So awesome. So pretty much that was it for the coverage of this one. It was just super exciting for NFT holders and kind of creatives like myself to kind of see that you don't have to worry about paying crazy amount of gas fees, and you can really work on more getting your work out there instead of not getting your work out there. So absolutely. Alright guys, so going over to Bitcoin miners, we're going to cover this also. So Bitcoin miners saw a monthly record of 1.5 billion in revenue in March. Bitcoin mining revenue broke a new all-time high in March, fueled by BTC rally. So you can see here just by the chart of the monthly miner revenue, just from September 2020 to March 2021 now. We can kind of thank this to our big institutional investors, and honestly, I can't even count retail out either, because retail does a tremendous amount of job of really keeping us afloat. And we are the most scared investors, in the space. And, when it comes to especially institutions, they got more money to play with, and it's not as hard of a hit to them, when they lose 2%. Granted, everyone's 2% is different. Hedge funds 2% could be a couple million. Your 2% could be $50. So, keep that in mind in a sense of kind of just understanding. But the monthly revenue overall, just some few quotes from just the beginning of the article. Few had anticipated the scale of this bull run in September 2020. Back to monthly miner revenue sat at $329 million, since the revenues have increased by 373, according to the new report by Arcane Research, a Norwegian analyst firm. And also, miners are awarded Bitcoin whenever they are adding a new block to the transaction. The blockchain they can later sell on the market and fund protocol costs, or simply just cash out. Transaction fees are another source of revenue. So, just like I said, it follows the same for the BTC network. The network difference between Ethereum and BTC is quite dramatic. The BTC network is old, and it doesn't function the way that Ethereum does at all. They have pretty much very little to few similarities as to sense of, working and having the same exact function. Yeah, I guess the same functionality. They're really not the same at all. So the way miners, can do this, on their own time is kind of the same way ETH is mined. It's just the difficulty for Bitcoin gets progressively harder, like we've talked about with the 21 million hard cap, and the algorithms becoming more and more difficult. And of course, there goes the camera. Dude, we cannot win today with the camera, so I'm definitely gonna try to figure this out. Give me 1 sec, guys, before we drop back into this. We cannot win. We cannot win with the camera, guys. So I'll definitely, if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. I might just have to go GoPro. I've thought about that, and I've heard great reviews from my GoPro people about live streaming with GoPros, because for some reason the DSLR, the cam link, it's just not really good anymore, and I'm not exactly sure what to do about it. Let's see. Yeah. All right. If it goes out again, guys, we'll just honestly say forget it, because it's being a real pain. So, awesome, guys. No worries. Honestly, we're just gonna continue without it. It's not. Oh, there it goes. Awesome. If it goes out again, then I'm just gonna not worry about it. I might just have to just shake it off and whatever. So, alrighty, getting back to where we were. I think we were pretty much really about to wrap up. The miner block rewards. Yeah, we've already went over that, and we talked about that just a couple minutes ago. Also, how miners cover their costs of utilities, and how miners really make their money. So there's a couple different avenues for miners of how they're making their cash, and they're providing their revenue's gone up, so that means they're picking up the the mining of their Bitcoin. So that means they're, like I said, they're pushing more onto exchanges, and exchanges are getting gobbled up by retail and institutional investors faster than they can even put on the exchange. So that's always a plus. That's always huge bullish sign when the exchanges can't even handle the volume of their customers. So. And also moving on real quick to Morgan Stanley approves their Bitcoin exposure ETF, or not even ETF, I'm sorry. Morgan Stanley approves Bitcoin exposure for a handful of mutual funds. So, like we talked about, Morgan Stanley, they have kind of been making a fuss, kind of in the United States. They've been one of the ones filing and, pushing for a Bitcoin ETF. Not only them, but a lot of institutional players and other good handful of people have also been doing the same. Like we talked about many weeks now, Canada has like 3 ETFs now. They're working on. I think they're working on their second Ethereum one now. So we are falling way behind in the sense of getting our regulations together and everything in order. Canada is kind of swooping us with everything going on. So with Morgan Stanley giving a handful of its mutual funds the ability to invest indirectly in Bitcoin through cash settled features, contracts, and Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. According to Thursday regulational filings, certain funds now go ahead and seek exposure to Bitcoins indirectly. The initial rollout features 5 Morgan Stanley family funds, institutional fund trusts, Europe opportunity funds, insight funds, and variable insurance funds. So the cool thing is about what Morgan Stanley does and how they kind of handle a lot of their exposure balance is a lot of their customers don't feel comfortable owning Bitcoin outright. So going to Coinbase or going to a Ledger or having cold storage, where you are solely responsible for your holdings. Morgan Stanley does a little bit differently, and it makes it a little bit more appeal for the mainstream and kind of beginner user interface, just in a way. So it's kind of just a simpler term of they do not actually own their Bitcoin. They are entrusting a middleman, Morgan Stanley, for example, to hold those futures and those Bitcoin those Bitcoin contracts that can later be presented as real cash. So kind of just put it in the sense of like this. They say commonly in the space of crypto, not your key is not your crypto. So what that means is if anyone does tell you that is, if you do not have your seed phrase or a ledger like I've talked about, the little thumb drive that's what it looks like, ledger, and it keeps your cryptocurrency on it. All cold storage it's a maximum security prison for your crypto cold storage. It's so safe that you would have a better chance of hitting the lottery, I think like 40 times in a row or something, than you would of cracking a ledger, just because the security combinations and every possibility is so much. It's billions and billions of possible entry points that you would have to get right, and it's most likely not going to happen for you. So back to the main point. Morgan Stanley is basically just a middleman for a lot of their customers and their institutional friends for holding Bitcoin futures and slips that basically just explain, hey, I have this much Bitcoin. So it's basically just a piece of paper like they do with gold. If you didn't want to hold gold, you would have a notary script, and a notary script you would bring that to the bank or whoever you wanted to cash out with, and it would be a approved notary script saying, hey, I have let's say I got $25,000 worth of gold, and I think an ounce of gold is like $1,800, so you had like a couple ounces. So you would bring that to a cash out notary, gold institution, and they would be able to fund that gold to you right then and there. Basically the same thing if you want to think about it with Morgan Stanley and the way these institutions are doing their opportunity funds and insight funds. It's basically the exact same thing. So why is this important? It is very important because it's now giving users who do not want to, I guess, really take that step of moving in that direction. It makes it easier for people to adopt and continue their investments just that much easier in the crypto space. And I believe sooner or later that Ethereum will probably do the same thing. And I think Canada already has that as of right now with their the same thing that they're doing here with their family fund trustees. Not only just that, but they are in Europe also, which is pretty great. So that's pretty phenomenal. So honestly, thought that was really important. Do not count Morgan Stanley out. They handle $2 trillion worth of assets. They have I think their minimum net worth for what you have to do to be a part of them is like $25 million. So if you don't have $25 million, you're not even close. And that's like the base. That's like the minimum cutoff. Like they're like, we're like just barely taking you. So if that kind of shows any sort of, big magnitude, that would be it. So awesome. And then moving on to our last article that I really had planned for us, guys. I kind of just wanted to keep it short because I am not really kind of in a rush, but just kind of wanted to keep it short and give you all the most important information first, that I thought was worth reading. Ethereum breaks up against Bitcoin. Is a strong bull rally in the works. So if you guys haven't been paying attention to the markets, yesterday we saw Ethereum perform extremely well. We knew Ethereum has not been doing very, very well over the past couple weeks. Been in a really solid consolidation phase. We know we had some FUD issues with the miners we talked about weeks ago. The 51% attack that miners were going to have on the Ethereum network. We covered that, I believe, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some update issues, some update rollups that just didn't go to plan. Some delayed of scaling, which is definitely, not ideal if you make a cutoff date. And I believe they kind of got ahead of themselves at the developer team that they thought they were going to make it and they didn't. So that's always kind of sad to, not hit targets, especially when you told your audience you were going to hit targets. But as you can see, that really does not matter in the sense of Ethereum and, the bull market. And I've noticed that since the news doesn't really affect many things, I guess, in the bull market, I'd say, like we've had plenty of times where JP Morgan was talking and other people were talking. People were like, oh my gosh, it's over. And still, like, these asset classes continue to prove us wrong. So it kind of just shows us how much we still really need to learn about these cycles and what we can do to understand further, kind of what these cycles are like and how they're going to go. So if we move down here to the quote, I'm not sure who did this chart, but we're just going to read the quote from what they said. Broke out of this triangle, but it has rallied straight into the red resistance, last resistance before all-time highs. And while this resistance could force ETH into a reset of the triangle, a successful reset would likely result in a break past the red. So, I mean, yeah, that is fairly correct. Absolutely. I mean, if we even hopped on our trading view chart, that's even somewhat correct. I didn't scan out exactly any indicators on here or any sort of too much drawings or anything along those lines. But even if we do follow from the article that we had here, and I drew the symmetrical triangle that we had, and just off the RSI, we're still perfectly in between, the dotted line, the two dotted lines like we've talked about. So we're in that nice, middle territory, and just like we covered in our technical indicators chart, we've noticed here, we saw the MACD cross here. We saw this, and then we saw the flip from January. We fell into that bearish consolidation from about January 16th, I'd say all the way till about February 14th. So, about Valentine's Day, if we keep moving forward, we even saw that cross back from the bearish, to the bulls. And, we did have that small drop off. I think that was only about, let's see you guys, that was only about, not even, 13%, nothing to turn your heads out. And you can see here, and we can even see what our price target would possibly be and how much we need to hit our next target, which is nothing too far off even. So let's see us at like 2,500. Drag this down. It's only about a 22% increase. So really nothing out of the ordinary, guys. Ethereum's looking super good. If we're just looking at the technicals, it's looking like a coiled up snake, kind of ready to go. We've noticed the RSI looks great. The MACD is looking pretty much almost perfect. This is almost a completely bullish reset that we've seen here. If we follow the MACD indicator lines, the red intersecting with the blue, the MACD is always blue, and it looks like we are switching gears into possibly a bullish scenario. So that's always kind of a great thing to see. Definitely not financial advice, but definitely would kind of watch the way you guys are making your entry points with Ethereum right now, and just kind of the over cryptocurrency markets in general, because not even if we just look at Ethereum, Bitcoin is kind of looking the same way, and we know how Bitcoin goes when it hogs the spotlight, kind of in that sense. I didn't even change the oh my goodness, I didn't even change the drawings from last time. So she's retain the drawings. If we just look at the indicators, we don't even need to draw anything. We were looking at the indicators are looking great. RSI is perfect in the middle. MACD is looking, it had its flips, from January, it's had its flips, but, you're looking at that bearish divergence pretty much going away here pretty soon, kind of just like we had with this rally, close to here. So I didn't want to get too in deep in the charts because, I didn't think it was too necessary, but I thought a little bit of a chart analysis was kind of helpful. So even if we just come up here and we draw our price increase from where we were from this flippage of the MACD, that was about a 54% rally. I know it doesn't look like it, but just I'm on the 1 day candlesticks, so it is just a little bit different. But you can see that we're possibly gearing up for even a better move than what we had that 61%. So 81 if we really count it from the bottom. I just did 60, 67 or whatever I just said to kind of just give an example, but yeah, we're gearing up for something really massive. I do believe, I've been watching my positions, kind of just playing it slow. I'm not currently buying anymore as of right now, kind of watching how this plays out on April 1st, and we could definitely continue to check in, and I'll put some charts up in the Patreon if that is something you guys all want to see moving forward, kind of more TA section. But I'm not a big crazy draw everywhere. I'm not nothing like this, or even nothing like some of these guys are doing a lot more in-depth TA. And me personally, I just don't think that's always needed. I think you can, once you see these markets enough, you can kind of your eyes can dial in and look at a chart, and you can understand somewhat what's to come, and you can use your anticipation to kind of understand the markets a little bit better. Just my personal opinion. I just don't use a lot of indicators and a lot of drawings. So awesome, guys. Cool. Let's see what time we're clocking in here. Clocking in about 25 minutes. That sounds about good. I'm gonna see if there's anything else we need to cover before we log off. I'll log off here today, guys. I don't think anything particular else I had. All the readings I wanted to cover, I think were appropriate. Super bullish news in the space, guys. I think April's going to gear up to be a really good month. Usually, historically, April is usually the best month for cryptocurrency performance-wise. So, I don't like to count the eggs, count the chickens before they hatch at all. And, usually when people are all saying something's going to happen, most of the time it doesn't always usually happen. So, proceed with caution. I'll keep you guys updated with any changes or any major changes that I, feel are happening in the market. And yeah, I'll continue to update you guys. And also, I was thinking about doing a possible, kind of cash out strategy plan, how you guys could possibly take profits. If you're investing long term, those long term those long term gains are super great. It also helps on tax reasons. The government will be a lot easier on you for long terms rather than short terms. At a lower rate. For tax brackets. So definitely, I'll get that together. Think about all the details that I want to include in there. Because I that's honestly one of the hardest and most frequent questions I've gotten is taking profits and how what to move your profits into in that sense. So we'll have a whole separate video on that. I won't do it in this live stream just because I'm gonna take my time on that and kind of really give a good way. For you to put your assets otherwhere, where possibly the best places to keep them, really get cash out plans that'll kind of retain that wealth, because that is probably the hardest thing to do. You can make a lot of money, yeah, but it's how much money can you really keep. So that's the really important part that I really like to stress to you guys, and making that money last, because a lot of you guys are young, a lot of you guys are older. Some of you guys are older, some of you guys are younger. Hey, I have some of you guys that are younger than me, but there's always lessons to be taught. I'm always looking for new ways that can make our lives easier, not only just financially, but everyday tools and different sorts of materials that can just make things so much easier for us moving forward. So awesome, guys. I don't think there's anything more for me to cover today. If anything else comes up, I will post it in the Patreon. Just had to do a little bit earlier stream today. I kind of have a very, very busy day, just different work stuff and whatnot. So thank you guys for tuning in today. You guys will be seeing this later because this isn't our usual stream time. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I will see you guys probably this weekend. Most likely have something tomorrow, but definitely this weekend before Tuesday, I'll have some more readings and some postings up. If any changes happen, I told you guys I will tell you. I'll hop on here and tell you guys. Awesome, guys. Be safe. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week